So I went to an early screening of the movie The Undertone yesterday on Monday. The Undertone is out everywhere in theaters March 13th, Friday the 13th. And here are my thoughts in the movie. The first part's going to be spoiler free. Towards the end, I'm going to give away some spoilers. I'm not going to give everything away from the movie. I kind of really like this movie in terms of like it's something different from what's been being released in theaters. So let's get right into the video. The plot of the movie The Undertone is the host of All Things Creepy podcast moves into her dying mother's house to be her primary caregiver. When her podcast is sent 10 audio recordings of a young pregnant couple experiencing paranormal noises, she realizes the woman's story is a mirror of her own, and each of new recordings scratches at her sanity, drawing her into a fate she cannot escape. The director and writer of the movie Undertone is Ian Tolson, stars Nina Kira, Adam DiMarco, and Michelle DeQuette. Now, watching this movie, I honestly was expecting a little more. However, this movie still messes with you as you're watching the movie because it mostly relies on audio. It's something different from what we're used to watching, like either Scream 7, like a slasher, or like seeing Primate, where it's kind of like, you know, a monster, an animal coming at you. This deals with audio. When they got sent the 10 audio files, I'm like, this is not going to be good. As one thing is happening in audio files, another thing happens inside the home of Evie, and you can't help but wonder because like obviously it's more audio based. But every time like the camera would pan one way or the other, I couldn't help but look at every corner. What's gonna happen here? Who's gonna pop out? Is the mom gonna come running down? And you're on, like, I was engaged the whole time. I was on edge the whole time for whatever the hell reason. A lot of religious imagery in this movie, and being raised Catholic, it doesn't help at all. That was already playing into my fears. Not that movies don't scare me no more, but this movie brought up some like deep trauma with religion, and I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And so throughout the movie, yes, it's a slower burn, and Evie and Justin, you know, Justin's the podcast co-host, they're going back and forth, they're listening to these audio files. Some of it's very disturbing, like the way it just kind of just comes suddenly, and the way it kind of messes with you, especially seeing it in IMAX and Dolby. I'm like, holy shit, because when the bass would hit, and I'm like, man, this is pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Looking at the story, A24 kind of does this thing where it's like the movie just takes place in the house. I don't think I remember a scene where she leaves the house. That's pretty cool. You could basically make a whole movie inside one room or just a few rooms, and it was still good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the experience wholeheartedly. Like, I really enjoyed the religious imagery. I really loved the audio recording, how it kind of ties into, like, as a scary scene is happening, you can't help but to look. Because I know for a fact when we watch horror movies, like, the music plays a big role when you know a jump scare is going to pop out, or let's say like the killer comes out of nowhere, you know the killer has entered the scene. Here it's just like, you know it's there, you know what the threat is, but you have no choice but to be alert watching the movie, more usual than not. And I thought that was pretty cool what they did. Nina Kiri plays Erie. Adam DiMarco plays Justin as a voice. Justin does not show up in the movie theater because I believe he lives in London. Michelle DeQuest is Mama. She's just laying on the bed. And the voice of Jessa and Mike are played by Kiana Lade Bastids. And Jeff Young plays the voice of Mike. Evie does have a boyfriend in the movie and she comes out pregnant. That has nothing to do with any spoilers. That doesn't affect the movie whatsoever. What does happen in the movie, I don't want to give away what happens, but a big part of the movie has to deal with like the mother-daughter trauma situation. And when I was leaving the theater, I overheard people talking about they were looking for more metaphors that weren't there, and I just chopped it. I was like, you're probably looking for something that you're not going to find in this movie. The mother-daughter trauma bond is there at a surface level. It doesn't dive deep into it, and I think that's what they were looking for. I went for the experience. I normally just go in without expecting anything in a movie, and I enjoyed what the movie experience gave me. In the movie experience theater, I give it a 9 out of 10. I give it almost close to a 10 out of 10 because I felt like if the movie would have went in a different direction, I want to say more violent, a more like jump scary type thing, because there are jump scares, but it's not as crazy. You can kind of see where it's going. And when I talk about the ending, I don't like it. It's just me. I understand how people can like an ending like this. I don't. I prefer a more over the top ending. If you're gonna wow me, you gotta wow me. If it's a slow burn, you have to wow me at the end. Or I may not like it. But however, is it a good movie? I really enjoy this movie. I really enjoy the experience. Once it gets to probably like the hour mark, that's when things starts to ramp up of what like the audio recordings start to get more darker. They start to get more scarier. And then whatever happens in the recording happens outside of Evie's home. And it's done really, really well. Because the whole time I'm like watching it, I'm like, is that the recording? Is that outside? And it does a good job of doing that. It does a good job of hiding what's happening. The last 30 minutes of this movie goes fucking insane. I just don't like the ending, but that's just me. So my score for this movie, I'm going to be honest, like if you watch it in theaters, it's an 8 out of 10. Given the fact that the surround sound and Dolby and IMAX do a good job of like the audio quality coming at you, so it feels a little bit better, it hits a little bit more. But if you were to watch this movie, let's say on a basic TV with not the surround sound being a factor, I think it doesn't fall flat in its face, but I think you can kind of enjoy this movie. Is it the best horror movie I've seen? No. I've seen The Bride. To me, The Bride has a better storyline, and The Bride is long ass fucking movie. I was like, when is this movie gonna end? In terms of The Undertone being a good time, The Undertone is a great time. If you watch, I prefer to watch it in theaters. If you have a chance to watch it in theaters, go ahead and do so. From here on out, I'm gonna talk about spoilers. If you made it to this far in the video and you don't want me to spoil it, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more horror movie reviews, more reaction on this channel, and more horror vlogs. I think this Friday I'm going to another event in Long Beach. It's like a horror market, but I'll post it up here. But thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. For the spoiler part of the movie, I thought that the demon Absol, Abyssal. I have it in my notes, but I forgot how to pronounce it. I thought the demon hiding behind the saint was fucking amazing. I was looking at when they pulled up the saint picture, I'm like, that already is terrifying. This is why religion movies or like paranormal movies that have religious imagery work so well if you grew up Catholic, especially Catholic. Christians, you just have one big guy to deal with. But the Catholicism, like basically pantheon, is fucking terrifying. If you go to the Vatican, some of it's fucking insane. And I'm like, fuck this. But when Evie pulled up the picture of that saint, I'm going to put it up here. You've been warned. When Evie pulled up the saint picture, I'm like, why do you still have this up? She kept having it up throughout the episode. I'm like, lady, can you remove this? Like, I understand that's a saint, but that saint looks fucking insane. And I really enjoyed when the bass of the movie would just hit you in the chest. I was like, holy shit, like my chair was rumbling. And I was like, I really enjoyed that part. So I'm like, for the experience, 10 out of 10. Not gonna lie. The experience, the more I think about it, you know what? 10 out of 10 for the movie theater experience. Storyline, 6. Like, again, it's a 6 or 7. You know, it's one. It's right there. Could they have done a better job? Yes, they could have done a better job. They could have expanded a little bit more. They could have got more violent. The demon could have at least like start to manifest in the mom, and at least like see what happens. Maybe the mom goes out and starts fucking going to like a different person who's pregnant. I don't know. I felt like they dropped the ball on that aspect. The ending is more ambiguous. It's like, okay, the lady comes in, finds a statue of the saint that's basically possessing the demon hiding behind the saint. And I'm like, okay, like what's gonna happen next? The mom, they do the whole classic, you walk in, I can see the mom through the mirror, the mom turns around, and then she comes out, and it just cuts to darkness, and you just hear like the mom basically killing Evie. And I'm like, okay, this has been done a lot. And there's one scene where someone calls the podcast, because they go live sometimes, or I think they go live all the time. And I'm like, okay, and it's the demon. And the demon is basically talking to them saying, I'm a bad mother. And that's when Evie says, oh, I killed my mother because I wasn't spending time with her. And they're kind of having like this moment back and forth, like, oh, you're a good mom, blah, 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 because she's going to become a mom. So she's trying to muster up that heroic, we can change things. And then it just turns to hell, because you can hear the baby crying on the other line. And the demon is basically like starts to laugh. And from what I think the demon puts the baby in the bag, or in a bag or something like that, or like something, because you can hear rappers going. She's laughing, and then you just hear loud thumping, and I'm just like, is she fucking swinging the baby on the floor against the wall? I thought that scene was pretty brutal, because again, it's using your imagination, and I thought that was really, really good concept of the movie. However, I would have loved both. I understand this movie is more audio than anything. I can understand when a director or a writer or a company says, this is what the movie is intended to be. On that note, yes, it succeeded. It is very, very audio based, but it does a hell of a good job using the theater, create tension, create fear. I at one point I was like, damn, this is pretty good. However, I felt the ending, they could have just went over the top with it. But that's just me. Overall, Undertone is a good, fun movie. A24 did a good job with this movie. Will I buy it? Yes, I definitely buy it. But I would want to experience it with more surround sound system in order for to fully experience what they were intending to do. But that's just my interpretation. When I was walking in the theater, people loved it. Some people didn't like it. Again, I can understand why they didn't like it. But to me, I enjoyed the movie experience. Thinking about it, I give the movie a solid 7 out of 10. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's not bad. It's not bad at any way at all. It's just me nitpicking. Other people might have liked it, but other than that, Undertone's a really good movie. That is it for this movie. I've seen I've seen Dracula, I've seen Scream 7, I've seen The Bride. I have yet to do any of those movie reviews because work has been just kicking my ass. And for like a week, I worked overtime and I was just dying. But I do reaction videos with paranormal. I'm going to be doing more vlogs. I'm going to be at Summer Screen all 3 days. And I'm going to be doing Summerween and anything horror related. I'm just going to throw it up here. I do have a true crime channel called Crime Hour Pod. That's going. Like I said, had all these plans, but work just got in the way. But if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. This has been the Undertone movie review. Spoilers free for the most part. Little spoilers at the end. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.